Good afternoon, welcome to Poland Weekly Business Focus program. Today we'll talk about hospitality market in Poland and Europe. It seems that despite the macroeconomic downturn, ongoing geopolitical tensions and supply chain disruptions, the European lodging industry has remained resilient. Today my guest is Karin Sheppard, SVP and Managing Director Europe at IHG. We will talk about the shape of the hospitality market in Europe and Poland. Good morning.
Good morning, delighted to be here.
Yes, how do you find Warsaw so far? You've been here for the 3 days, so any impressions?
I have had 3 wonderful days here. I mean, first of all, coming here in the month of May and everything is green is wonderful. And I have had the opportunity to visit 4 of our hotels and have enjoyed the fine Polish hospitality. It's been tremendous.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so let's now focus maybe on the business angle, not probably will come up also with the tourist perspective, but in a while. So how would you define the current situation in the hospitality market in Europe?
That's a great question. And I would say what summarizes it is full of positive surprises. Because if we think about what we've been through with COVID, extended periods of challenges from that, and of course the war in Ukraine, what has surprised us is how quickly demand bounced back and how continuously we're seeing that. And whilst that has been led by leisure, definitely, people making up for lost time and traveling to destinations they now could reach. Also from a corporate perspective, we are definitely seeing that people have learned that there is nothing like being face-to-face and doing business in a way where we have that human connection again. So we have actually seen demand come back surprisingly faster than we expected, which is great. Leisure, business, and even for conferences, whilst we always anticipated that that would take longer, again, people are needing to come together, whether that's for training, reconnection, or just meeting in sort of conferences that are taking place across Europe. So very positively surprised, which is a good thing.
And let's keep it that way. I read that in one of the interviews you said, I'm truly excited about the investor appetite to actually go into more leisure-focused destinations now. I think the trend that will stay with us. Is it still the case? So which segments of the market are also performing? You mentioned, I mean, of course, tourism, so lodging, leisure, yes, business, events, but if you could tell a few words about it more.
Yeah, I guess if we wound back the clock 5 years, typically if I was talking to investors in Europe, they would talk about the safe bets being in corporate city centres for business demand. And that's of course still true. What has happened, however, and again from having seen this resilience of leisure demand, is that the money, the investment is actually going to locations where there is leisure demand, whether that's in cities or indeed in resort destinations. So that means that we are seeing new destinations emerge, helped by the fact that we have low-cost airlines that can get people to further destinations. And I think behind it, from a consumer perspective, this desire to explore new destinations. I think what we learned through COVID is how precious time is, how valuable it is to spend time with those we care about, and actually therefore seeking new experiences beyond where you might have been before is driving the demand. And the investors are saying that is a demand we want to bet on, and therefore the money is seeking out those destinations. We're seeing that across Europe. We're seeing it here in Poland, where we can see that some of the Baltic Sea destinations, mountains, lakes, are actually becoming where the investors will go next, and where the brands that IHG Hotels and Resorts have got to offer can help in terms of actually bringing the guests to new destinations where brands give the reassurance that you're going to stay in a familiar environment, even if you're exploring a new destination.
Yes, I think this consumer perspective is very important, that, you know, sometimes if you don't have a specific hotel that you really like, this place becomes a desert, you know, it's just not on your travel map. Okay, you started talking about Poland, so I'm wondering what's your market outlook currently, also from the perspective of your investment here in Poland.
Sure.
Big cities, smaller cities, touristic destinations, resorts over the seaside. Full opportunities in Poland, I'm sure, but what's your, you know, business angle on top of that?
We continue to be increasingly excited about the opportunity in Poland. It is one of the markets we identified as a key growth market for us within Europe. It is the 6th largest country in Europe, 7th largest hotel market already. And for us, we are here for the long term. We can see the way we're building our presence follows quite a consistent pattern when we enter new markets. It's no coincidence we are here in Warsaw, where we have a sizable presence. We have the Intercontinental that's been here for 20 years, and we're celebrating that this year. So we know the market well, and we have added to our brand portfolio here, both with Holiday Inn, our mainstay brands, and with Crowne Plaza and Holiday Express, where we are here today. So building out that presence in a key city is always an anchor point for us. Mm-hmm. Why? Because that's where the international demand is coming in first and foremost. And then we build out from that. So we can see now that we are building out the portfolio and the pipeline, that there's opportunities to go into the secondary cities and indeed then into the leisure destinations. Mm-hmm. So our journey looks like today we have 14 hotels open already, and we are set to more than double our presence in the next 3 to 5 years. And with that, expanding the brand portfolio from the ones that are very familiar with Intercontinental, Crowne Plaza, Holiday Inn, into Holiday Inn Express, going into locations where, for example, we've got airports that are, key pockets of demand for us, where we are expanding, and then taking some of our newer brands actually globally into Poland as well. So a good example of that is our Voco brand, which is a brand that's got a little bit more individual flair in the premium segment, very suited for both business and leisure. And we have several in the pipeline, including destinations like Katowice, Śląska Poręba, to get into resort destinations. So we see the outlook continuing to be positive, and the opportunity to really build out a sizable network across the main destinations for both business and for leisure.
And are there any specific trends that you think that they will have the biggest impact on the market in the upcoming years? Poland, Europe in general?
Well, I think in Poland, what's really impressed me this week talking to the teams is just how strong the demand is. There's clearly a strong logistics market in Poland that's driving demand. Office relocations into Poland is driving demand for us. So as business drivers,
yes.
You see some really important and consistent demand drivers. And then you overlay that kind of international layer, then with the fact that within Poland there are so many beautiful places to visit. So whether it's international travelers going further beyond, or indeed for the local market, that's where we see the opportunity for branded hotels. The reality is today, 60% of the hotel stock in Poland is unbranded. And that is a tremendous opportunity for us, because we know that brands brings consistency, it brings the ability to raise awareness of locations you can visit. And for us as IHG, what underpins that network of brands is our global loyalty program, IHG One Rewards. Now we have 115 million members worldwide. So of course, from capturing international travelers into our hotels, that is incredibly powerful. But here in Poland already, we have over 200,000 members. And that means that we can promote to them when we open new hotels and new destinations to make sure that we actually bring business to our newer hotels. So I think the trends are set to continue in terms of increased appetite for leisure destinations, strong business demand drivers, and obviously, as we all hope for, that it settles in terms of war in Ukraine, there will be reconstruction, there will be demand drivers to help build up the country, where for Poland, I think we're going to see some additional drivers of economic activity, where hotels will need to be at the center of that as well.
Yeah, well, we often hear about, new gravity center, when hopefully the war will be finished. Yes,
exactly.
That's true. But it's interesting what you said about, so many not branded hotels, but your way of developing also takes into account the acquisitions, or is you mainly develop yourself from the scratch?
So IHG's business model is what we call asset light. We are not really here to own hotels. There are plenty of real estate investors that do that and do that very well. And our model is one of partnerships, whether that is us managing the hotel or whether it's us giving a franchise agreement to a partner. And we do both here in Poland. So
and you will stay with this?
We will stay with that, yes. It is our way of growing faster. And it's also respecting the fact that there are people that are very well placed to invest in hotels What we do is we work hand in hand with them.
Okay.
So I have here on the ground in Poland a development team, a design and engineering team, a commercial team, so that we can work with partners to qualify where the demand drivers come from, therefore what kind of hotel to build, and then work with them sort of through the whole design and development phase to make sure that as the hotel opens, it's on brand and it'll deliver for the guests that are coming through the doors. So we're very much hand in hand, respecting what we both bring to the table.
I'm pretty sure that this strategy also works very well in terms of the new challenges or opportunities which are connected with ESG. Because also probably if you look at the outdated stocks, also on the hospitality market, I think the way probably your company approaches ESG criteria also makes a difference. And I would like to also ask you about this topic because I know it's on the agenda of all the businesses.
It is indeed, and certainly for IHG it is as well. We actually launched in the height of the pandemic our Journey to Tomorrow. Now, Journey to Tomorrow is a 10-year ambition for how we're going to positively impact communities in which we operate, help have a positive impact on the planet, and of course with our people. So really, broadly speaking, the whole spectrum of ESG. And we have made significant commitments in that space. On sustainability, and particularly when it comes to carbon, water and waste, we have some significant programs in place. And the approach we take is how do we help investors build for the future in a way that's going to be more sustainable. We actually announced last week at the International Hotel Investment Conference in Berlin a partnership in the UK to build the first net zero carbon hotel.
Oh, wow.
And we're doing that to learn from that so we can bring that expertise and knowledge to other projects. So that's absolutely key for us. When it comes to water and waste, we've got various programs in place to make sure that we can tread lightly as we expand. And a lot of that work actually happens in partnership with other associations in the market, because actually we can only do this as an industry collectively. So we tend to bring our expertise to those forums. Again, last week in Berlin, there was a big conference around net positive hospitality. How can we enter destinations and give more than what our impact might be? So a lot happening in that space. And on the people side, we have a real commitment to diversity, equity and inclusion. It kind of runs through our veins, and it's interesting being here, spending time in the hotels. I see that reflected back to me in terms of how they engage in the local communities, some of the talent that we're giving opportunities. So we're here at the Crown Plaza, and many of the leaders that are working here came from the Intercontinental, got given opportunities to grow and develop, and got supported along the way. The hotels themselves engage in the local communities, whether that's to help disadvantaged populations within the communities. Some of the partnerships they have warm my heart in terms of whether it's for, helping disabled children, children with cancer diseases, and they really lean in hard and with full hearts to make sure that we actually do what we can do to have a positive impact where we operate.
Yes, and I think at the end of the day, embracing ESG is also about, educating your customers who come to the hotel. So it's also about, shaping the general awareness of the fact that we need to tackle social impact, environmental issues. And I think that's really very important.
You're absolutely right. And we see now, and increasingly so, with large corporate clients, they expect that we have initiatives in place and that we can explain to them that we are responsible in the way we operate. So I am very pleased that we have taken all the initiative we've taken, because right now it is going very fast in terms of actually driving and dictating where customers choose to stay. And for the investors, they also know, and increasingly so in different markets, that if they don't take action now, they could end up with a obsolete asset at some point, because government will come in and start enforcing the regulations. So it is definitely an area that is top of mind and where we've got a lot of focus.
Yes, and consumers is one, and second, the impact on the whole value chain around you, right? So that's also a massive market, I would say.
Yes.
Okay, we talked a lot about the opportunities. The future seems to be bright, but I would like to also ask you about some challenges in the upcoming years, if you see any.
There will always be some challenges. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. I have lived through September 11, the global financial crisis, now a global pandemic. And I tend to look at those as the short-term little bumps along the way. And as I said earlier, just having seen how quickly demand has come back after COVID, my outlook is very positive. That said, I think across Europe and the markets I look after, talent is one of those key challenges. And we did have some challenges on the back of COVID because people changed the way they worked and perhaps the expectations on how they spent their time. The way we've addressed that is to listen to our colleagues, understand what they're after and where we need to perhaps have more flexibility in how we create their work life for them. I have to say, again, having spent time here in Warsaw this week and talking to our hotel colleagues, they were pretty confident about the stabilization that's now happened. And for IHG, what we are very focused on is training and developing our people. So as I mentioned before, the fact that we have a large intercontinental hotel that can create talent that can come and run a Crowne Plaza or Holiday Inn Express for us is really valuable because it allows them to see a career path ahead of them. That is often the advantage as a globally branded player. We can offer our colleagues opportunities to grow and develop within their own hotel, within the network of hotels in their city, or indeed across borders. One of my joys this week was to be here with my leadership team. So I brought them all here to see the opportunities in Poland. And in fact, my managing director for the UK started her career at Intercontinental Warsaw as a finance trainee and has had a tremendous career within IHG and is now running my largest market in Europe, over 350 hotels. And being able to share those stories to inspire our colleagues to say, first of all, anything is possible. We can help you along the way. And if you have a desire to move and progress, well, then there are plenty of opportunities. I'm very confident that we are rebuilding the confidence in hotels and travel and tourism as a great career to build. But that will require still some hard work to make sure that that really creates the path that we need, because if we are to double our presence in Poland and in general want to accelerate our growth, then we are going to need more people to get as excited as I am about this hotel industry.
And that will also Poland benefit with this itself. Yes, attracting talents, I think it's very high on the agenda.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much for your time and for the discussion. Well, I would say that the one-liner to summarize is that the future is bright. But my conclusion would be also when talking to you that I think, that the hospitality market is actually a good barometer and reflects very well, the needs of people. And I think it's very positive that you see, the demand from people coming back on the right path. So people wants to travel, wants to meet, because that's a huge part of our well-being. So thank you very much and good luck with your projects in Poland and Europe.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.